Ruben, you said before this game it was going to be a battle, it was going to be a fight, you had to be at your very best. So how do you reflect on that in the sense that you came back and you got a point from it?
In the end, I think that is a good thing in the game, that if we compare in the recent past, we are a little bit different in that moment, because we had 5 minutes we disconnect, we suffer 2 goals, but we managed to control our emotions, to continue to play. Not all the time so well, but we managed to secure a point. But I think we drop a little bit the energy level, and you can feel it. And when our team is not in the top of the energy, of the aggression, you can feel it in our team. But in the end, again, we managed to score again. We tried to win the game. We have a big opportunity in the end. We missed that little bit luck in the end. Let's work to win the next week.
When you talk about that energy, what do you mean by that? How do you make that energy to the best level it can be?
We need to work that with time, to have the same energy in our stadium away. We are getting better. That is, I think, everyone can see. We are getting better. We are getting that feeling. If we cannot win, at least we are not going to lose, and you can sense that in the team. But the way we press, the urgency in certain things, I think we play better. For example, in the last Sunday, we need to be that in every game in order to win every game.
And also up into 5th, you can't really argue with that, given how things were looking a few weeks ago, and we cast our minds back particularly to that League Cup away trip to Grimsby Town. Things are getting better at last under Amorim, aren't they?
Oh, they are, 100%. And I look back, and it might have been international break when Sir Jim Radcliffe came out and said, we've got a 3-year plan. And I think he sends a message out to everyone. I was sat there thinking, really? Is he going to be there in 3 years if this carries on? But before today, they won 3 on the bounce. Big win against Liverpool, which I'm not too sure how many people looked to that game going, Manchester United have got a chance to win. And they showed a response today going behind. I mean, there was nothing in the first half. It was an end-to-end game, but I thought Casemiro in the middle of the park, Bruno playing wide to his wing-backs, Ahmed and Diallo. Sesko in the first half was OK. Second half, he was non-existent, really. But I think it was a good response from Ruben Amorim's Manchester United team, and I think it just shows how far they've come in 4 games, and a response instead of feeling sorry for yourselves. And we all know in this game, winning football matches in 5th, they had a chance to go second today. If they'd have gone to the City Ground and won, they would have been second. I mean, 4 games ago, we wouldn't have been saying that. So, so Jim Radcliffe sent out a message, and I think it was good for certainly those players to realise that a change is going to be happening for any time soon.
For all 3 points, but settling for a point, first point since September. Overall, can you be happy with that?
I mean, I think the only positive we can look at is the form that Man United have been on, and to get a point is obviously good, but the whole dressing room is frustrated not to get the 3 points. Conceded 2 silly corners. So yeah, it's frustrating. I don't think the first one was even a corner, to be honest. So yeah, it's frustrating, but we're back scoring now, and yeah, we take the point and we move on, and we look at all the positives and take them into the next game.
When you say you're back scoring, let's just talk about the first corner, because it's a big talking point. It has been a big talking point of this game.
Yeah, definitely. We were 1-0 down coming into the half-time, and we felt like we had the dominance of the first half, and it was just about getting that next chance and trying to take it. And Yatesy put in a lovely ball for me, and I just had to try and direct it into the far corner, and luckily enough I did that. And I feel like that gave the boys the edge then to then go and really believe that we can go on and win the game, and then literally within a minute we went and scored another one, but unfortunately we couldn't just see out the game and get the 3 points. But we take the point and we take all the positives and move on to the next one.
What about the corner that led to the goal that was conceded? I know it was a set piece, and you know what's going to come off Sean Dyche because it was defending the corner, and both goals have come from those set pieces. Inconclusive to whether it was a corner or not for their first goal.
Yeah, I mean, from where I was standing, I was pretty far away. It didn't look like it went out. I haven't been in to be able to check it yet, so all the boys were saying at half-time, the analysis, they're saying that the ball never went out. So I think it's something that needs to be looked at, because it's happened twice to us now in 2 weeks. Last week against Bournemouth, it wasn't their corner. So it's something they need to look at, because it's cost us two extra points today. So we'll see.
Well, let's take a look at what Morgan Gibbs-White was referring to there. Of course, the controversial corner from the opening half that gave Manchester United the 1-0 lead. What did you think?
To be fair, I mean, it makes a point. I mean, obviously United are attacking, they cross Savona with a great header, and because he's headed, he's trying to keep it in. And it looks like he does, especially from that angle. I mean, this one is slightly different, whether it's, in or out. It looks probably fractionally in, but I think the linesman on the other side is making a decision. He's probably about 90 yards away.
Too far.
So it's it's really difficult to see, and VAR can't intervene. You see what Sean Dyche thinks of it, but why can't they just have it a bit like tennis? Where if you got kind of sensors, but great header from Casemiro. He's so good in the box. Gibbs-White's marking him, and watch what he does. See you later. Just leaves him. A great header.
What a header.
Yeah, I think Forest can feel hard done by conceding that corner. It's justified or not. But they cannot feel hard done by their marking, and that's their own fault really. No one should get a free header inside.
It doesn't even jump.
It doesn't even jump. So very soft goal to give away.
Well, they were disappointed, as we just heard from Morgan Gibbs-White, but whatever Sean Dyche said to them at half-time clearly worked. The blocks in the second half, and Morgan Gibbs-White got on the score sheet pretty much, 3 minutes into the second half?
To be fair, they dominated. Man United just sat off them. How about this for a pass from Elliot Anderson? I love that. Great switch of play. And to be fair, they really struggled to deal with crosses, I think, at this point, Manchester United. Such an easy, but Yates just pops it in. And it's a fantastic header from Gibbs-White, isn't it?
It's a great header, gets across his man in Ahmad, but if you look from this angle, the challenge that Ahmad puts in, I know he's not a natural defender, but surely you can do a little bit better than that defensively. A bit more. So, talked about United's goal being a free header and a soft goal to give away. I thought this was equally as soft if you look at the defensive side of it.
Well, it certainly set up an exciting second half, didn't it? Because then Forest didn't look back after that. And they scored, seconds later? This was Savona that put them ahead, 2-1.
Yeah, to be fair, they dominated at this point. Again, Manchester United don't really get any pressure on the ball. Igor does terrific. And to be fair, Savona does fantastic. He's the right back there. Watch, he just plays this ball in and runs inside, in behind Cunha. And to be fair, Dallo just turns around. And I think once he turns around there, he has no idea where he is.
No, he doesn't know where the opposition player is, but he's looking at the ball. He's looking at the situation there. Look, he sees the ball drop. He needs to react quicker. He hesitates for half a second. And when you hesitate half a second, that's what happens.
That angle there, you see, it just stops for like half a second. But credit the defender, he just kept running. And sometimes if you run in a straight line, it can come to you. But to be fair, what a strike this is from Ahmad.
How about that, Ida? What did you make of the strike from Ahmad?
Oh, well, I mean, lovely strike, and he half and more made up for, let's say, his weak defending in Forest's first goal. That strike is just as sweet as you like, on the volley. De Ligt, puts himself in front of the goalkeeper. I don't think there's anything in it. I think VAR checked it to see if there was a
possible handball there.
Probably that's the incident that VAR were checking. My initial thought was if De Ligt was in the eyesight of the goalkeeper.
They said it wasn't deliberate.
Exactly. So I think a wonderful equaliser. Would have been a shame if that wouldn't have stood.
To be fair, I wonder if we could kind of look at that from the top again, because there's a point where Bruno says to Ahmad, like, you're a little bit out of position.
Yeah, he did.
And what you got to do, you got to listen to your boss. And to be fair, Ahmad, it's only fractions, but they must have worked this on the training ground, and it's so good. No, it's another angle.
It's just the bit where he was,
they're kind of, it's almost behind the goal.
Yes.
And he just tells him, look, you got to step up, you got to be on the edge of the box. And exactly where he tells him to stand is where the ball comes, and he finishes absolutely brilliantly. OK, so will they be happy, though, with the draw in the end, do you think? Yeah, I mean, obviously you want to win the game, but I think going 2-1 down, and I think the goal that they scored, I think, a point away is not a bad result.
Good performance, though, all in all.
No, I don't, especially second half.
Especially the run that Manchester United have been on, they should have done better.
Once they took the lead, they stopped playing, didn't they?
Yeah.
Sean, so close to 3 points here, first Premier League game in charge. How do you reflect on that? Because plenty of talking points, should we say?
Yeah, very thorough performance, I thought, from ourselves. First half with the ball, opened chances up when we could. A goal I'm sure you'll ask me about. And then second half, obviously, some nervy to get that next win, and we just went a little bit on the back foot, but not from a lack of effort or anything, but it's a psychology where you're just searching for that win, but still looked really dangerous on the break, and thought we'd see it through. And unfortunately, a good strike from there, that gets them a point. But I know you're going to ask me about the first goal, so I'll let you ask, and then we'll go into it.
Well, what I was going to say was conceding from 2 set pieces, which I know you won't be happy about. Inconclusive, though, to whether that first goal you conceded was a corner.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's not inconclusive. I've seen it back. My bugbear, and funnily enough, I was talking to the powers that be with the referees about the quadrant now. The quadrant, we all watch it. You can see the ball's outside the quadrant from 80 yards away. But they allow it because it's 1 millimetre with the ball hanging over the line, a bit like the goal line. Yeah. So apparently today the assistant referee can see 78 yards away. It's got to change. That's 2 in a week, two decisions that are not right and gone against in a week. Yes, of course, we've got to then deal with the situation, which we didn't do as well. But it is tough when there's a lot of noise about corners at this club, and then they give corners that are not corners. We had one last week, one this week, and very tough on the team, I think, to take decisions like that. We all talk about the margins in football. We talk about VAR. Why is it not brought in? If it leads to last week, really poor decision, cross goes in. This week, really poor decision, cross goes in. We'll get VAR on it then because it's 8 seconds to just go. It's in or it's out.
Well, my following question then would be, what did the match officials say to you? I heard your coaching team at half-time. I'm not going to say what they said, but what have they said to you in response?
I'm sure they're very gracious and very calm. At the end of the day, they just said, well, decision made. And I said, well, that's fine, but it's 78 yards away. Surely there's got to be a benefit of the doubt for the defenders. Why would you give it to the attacking team? I don't understand. If there's a benefit of the doubt either way, why would you do that? No, I know the Premier League will want more goals and fans want more goals, but at the end of the day, that decides a lot. We're fighting for our lives to get ourselves back at the table. Things like you don't want them going against you. So, anyways, look, I've spoken to the powers that be, said my view of it. I'm only just back in it, but I've been watching it when I haven't been in it. See all these VR things, I don't know why it's not boiling with things like that. Once, if it leads directly to a goal, which it did.
OK, on the goals, because goals have been hard to come by for Forest this season, but the fans, as far as they're concerned, it's the first point since September. It's progress, isn't it? And you can build on that, which is what you were looking for.
Well, there's progress in the performance. I think that's clear. The manner of the performance at Porto, we jumped forward to this one. Bournemouth, I said, was a flat day. You could see the players, the fitness, I'm not quite there, and the sharpness and all them things. But today's back to where we want to be, that's for sure. Some really good performance from individuals as well. Team mentality, and it's going to be a squad mentality. Obviously, we've got a lot of games coming up. I've already assured them that, but I thought the team delivered a good performance today. Another day you get it over the line, and that's the bit we've got to change. But it's a work in progress. They've had a lot to contend with, easy for me to say. And then, like 3 managers in a short while, another change. But I think some of the performances today were certainly worthy of wearing this shirt. But we've got to turn them into wins, of course.
Right, Dawes, before we look at the performance from a Nottingham Forest and a Manchester United perspective, let's just clear up then that opening goal from Casemiro. Akil Housen was the assessor and said the ball had gone out of play. When the question was put to Sean Dyche, it was inconclusive as to whether it was or not. He argued the other side of the coin with that. What was your take on it? You've had a bit of time to look.
Yeah, as soon as it happened, the ball's come into... Savona's headed the ball behind him and then he's chased the ball towards the line. I'm thinking, what's happened here? And he'd give a corner, and he's right. The official is so far away. All he's done is guessed. Because, look, we're fortunate we get replays. So we can see, as soon as it's happened, I've gone to Mike, it's never been a corner. And you just hope it's not going to end in a goal. And ultimately it did. But you can see Sean Dyche's frustration because it happened last week against Bournemouth when Nico Williams, I think, comes off Tavernier, and it should have been a goal kick. Corner is given, and the score again. So there's 2 flips. You've got to defend it a lot better than what you are doing. But we've got to get the outcome, and you cannot guess. When the official is that far away, for me, you just have to let it play.
He has guessed, hasn't he, Dino?
Oh, 100%. 100% he's guessed. I mean, it's not out of play, so he's saying it is. It's clear. It's clearly in. It's not even. I don't think it's close really. When you see the one at Burnley Arsenal, that's closer. But again, that's another guess to lead to their corner. But it's definitely a guess. I think in time, and whether it'll start in the World Cup next year, the VR will be able to try and IFAB and FIFA will get involved to say, if it goes for a corner, before the corner gets taken, they can clear it and say, no, it's not a corner, it's not a throw, and it's a goal kick, simple as, or we'd have a drop ball because the ball hasn't gone to play, because it's just a complete guess. And to look from 80 yards across play and say that's out of play, it's impossible, because you've got 2 posts to look through, and the defender's foot. It's just a guess, 100%.
Sure, as an official, you don't want to get involved, so why would you put your high risk like that?
Because he thinks it's out, but factually it's in play, so he has just made a guess, and it's a major error. And luckily enough for Forest in the end, they got a point out of it. But if they go 1-0 up and not 1-0 down, it might be a bit different.
But surely you would leave it alone if you are not convinced that ball's gone out, thinking, I'd rather the game just go on.
But when you see it, it's just over 3/4 the ball's out, but it's not even close to being out with the technology that we've got involved, really.
But the goal from Casemiro stood. And just on Nottingham Forest overall, Dorse, I mean, Dyche saying there that, performance-wise, there was signs of progress. Would you go along with that?
Yeah, 100%. It was a really good game of football. It was end-to-end in the first half. I think the draw and the outcome, and I think in half-time, Sean Dyche, because when you're in the run of form that Nottingham Forest are in, you think, what do? Do you lie down and feel sorry for yourselves? Or do you go, right, we've been harshly done by here, but individually, collectively, we've got to do better from the set piece. And they came out, and what a response it was in the second half to put the balls in the box. Gibbs-White gets his first Premier League goal this season with a header, and then a minute and a half later, they go 2-1 up, and you're thinking, wow, can you hold on? I mean, there's still another 40 minutes plus time added on, but the response from Manchester United was really, really good. And on reflection of the Premier League football, it was a good game. I really enjoyed it. And I said at 2-1, I thought Nottingham Forest were going to have to score again. But on the flip side, Manchester United came back, and Nottingham Forest could have lost it right at the very end.
And it's his 3rd game in charge. He's got his first point from a league point of view. Got that win against Porto in Europe to start things off. In terms of what we saw under Postecoglou, how different a Forest performance inside is this right now? Yeah,
it is a different kind of style. I was pretty surprised. I thought he might have gone with the 4-3-3 today. He went with the 4-2-3-1 and 4 out-and-out attackers with Dan N'Doye, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Morgan Gibbs-White and Inigo Jesus. I thought he might just go with a flat midfield to make it hard for Manchester United. That's probably why the game was wide open. And the Sean Dyche team, you build on resilience. And it will be hurting him, the fact that they've conceded 2 set pieces again. Yes, the Diallo one was a second phase and it was a magnificent strike, but that's something that Nottingham Forest have to cut out, conceded way, way too many set piece goals. I mean, they've conceded 19 goals already. We talked about how good they were last year, and what did they build on? They build on resilience, hard to break down, and at this moment in time, the opposition are getting too many chances.
Welcome back to Premier League Live. So plenty to reflect on after a busy first half in Goal Rush. Let's get straight to it. Our feature game at the City Ground, Forest against United. United are 1-0 up, but Owen, it came from a very controversial corner. Talk us through this one.
Yeah, I mean, initially Manchester United are on the attack. I think Savona wins that first header, then he tries to keep it in play. I think the linesman on the other side, who's about 90 yards away, says it's out. Depending on what your eyesight's like, is it in, is it out either? But they decide to give...
Well, imagine how it feels for the linesman on the other side if we can't even see it in the studio. The only thing I would go with is the reaction of the player. It doesn't get too upset and doesn't show any emotion of the corner being given.
Yeah.
And it was inevitable when something controversial corner, something controversial was going to happen, and Manchester United get the lead.
And the ball being in and out of play is something that VAR cannot get involved in.
Yeah, and, it's frustrating for Forest, but still, you have to defend the corner better.
Yeah.
And I think, obviously, there can be some controversy around that, but then you got to reset, get back in, and they didn't really do that. And I think Gibbs-White's kind of the one that's man-marking Casemiro for whatever reason, and he just loses sight of him.
Well, let's take a look at the goal. As you mentioned, Casemiro was the one that delivered this header. He's now scored in back-to-back games, I guess.
Good delivery, as you would expect from Fernandes. Casemiro with a free header, which shouldn't be allowed, and I'm pretty sure if anything we know about Sean Dyche, he'll be fuming with that.
What would have Jose said to that man marking?
Well, he probably would have had someone on the post. That seems to be gone out of fashion a little bit with the managers. If you have someone on the post, easy clearance.
Yeah, true.
Well, we said that Man United had to back up what they've done so far, this winning momentum, and get a result today. So far, so good?
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't been vintage. I think Nottingham Forest had more shots in that first half, but the most important thing, they're efficient right now. They didn't concede many chances, and I think the ones when they did, Landmans was ready for it.
OK, well, 1 year in, it's not actually been the easiest year for him, has it? It's only until recently that he's managed to string together back-to-back victories, and now we're looking for 4 in a row for them. All those victories that he's managed to put together, 3 in a row, as you can see, hoping for a 4th to get, obviously that breeds confidence and belief. Is that the biggest difference we're seeing as well now?
Yes, and I think we're seeing a Manchester United team that they make me believe when I'm watching them. And not the only good thing. The good thing about Amorim, in his first year, when he speaks, I still believe what he's saying.
Yeah.
I still believe there's good times ahead for Manchester United. Even though the results haven't been there, even though they've been through a difficult period, I still believe his words, and that's a strong thing to have as a manager.
Yeah, even when you sit down with him one-to-one, you literally come away from him thinking, wow, you believe, you really do. And I do think I don't think anybody wanted, he said about change. I don't think anybody wanted to change. I think everybody just wanted to adapt a little. This league's a lot harder than Portugal. I think at Sporting they had 70% possession, they dominated games. This league is different, and I think in the last 3 games he's adapted. You think at Anfield, going to win a set piece, a late goal. They didn't have much possession there. Then obviously against Brighton, they played slightly different. The goalkeeper playing a little bit longer, not playing short all the time. I think adapting is a good thing, not a bad thing. And I think a year in has been a massive learning curve for him. I'm with Ida. I love his communication, but I think adapting is not a bad thing. And I think he saw that initially. I think right now it's getting results, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah, you have to adapt in the Premier League, don't you? Because any team can beat any team on their day. Even if they're at the bottom of the table, they can beat you. Do you think he's finally settled on his best 11 now? Is that what the difference is as well?
Well, today might be evidence of that. First time since he arrived that he has an unchanged side. And going back on the point that I was making, that I believe what he's saying when I'm watching him on TV. Imagine the players in the dressing room. And I think that's a huge difference. They're starting to believe as well. They're feeling more... We look at a team that's much more comfortable in the way they're playing. It might be slightly different. We'll have a few clips later on in the show where we highlight things that are a little bit unusual to what we are seeing defensively or tactically. But it seems that the team and the players are adapting to it, and they're finding it not such a confusion as last year, as it's coming natural to them.
Do you think that's because obviously no European football, they've got 1 game a week, they've got time to work on a training period? I think that's a huge advantage.
Sometimes it can be a blessing that you're not playing midweek because you have so much more time with the team implementing your things as a manager or as a coach, what you want to see, what movements you want to see, both defensively and attackingly. So they seem to be reaping the benefits of having a few more days together.
So putting all of this into context, just how important is it today that they do walk away with another victory and take advantage of the fact they're playing Forest?
Yeah, I mean, it's literally the most important thing. If they win games, the confidence, everybody's talking about Man United, how great they are. 3 weeks ago, everybody said, what a disaster it was. So I think if they can find a way to win this in a different way, then I think it will... Everybody will be smiling. Every Man United fan will be smiling and believe that maybe they can finish in the top 4.
And we always talk about it, don't we? Momentum is everything in football. So to keep that winning momentum going will be really important for them.
Of course. And if you look at the table, I mean, they're not that far off the top, are they?
Look at the fixtures, either.
You look at the fixtures, but that's the one mistake probably that every Manchester United fan or fans of any team, when we start looking too far ahead, just look at today. Keep the momentum going, as you said. It's of huge importance. And who would have thought 2 months ago that we're looking at a Manchester United team and everyone starts believing they're going to win games? We wouldn't have thought that 2 months ago. So it just goes to show what a victory at Anfield does. 2-3 victories on the spin, what that does for the club, for everyone around them, for just the energy around Manchester United. It's just taking a U-turn.
If they win today, I think they're in the title race?
Too early to say, isn't it? Well, what are we?
To even have a conversation
a quarter of the season. So if you think, well, but you have to replicate it again, and for the 4th time, 4 quarters. So
we always say when you get to around Christmas time, it's a good indication, isn't it? But look, we'll pick up this conversation a little bit later because after the break,